Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Whole Reffin' Show. I'm Jamie Tucker, and
Hey, I'm Julia Lynn. Glad to be here. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Hopefully doing well.
you're in Tucker Studio,
Yes,
everyone.
yes,
Welcome back.
Yes, glad to be here.
So, everybody, this one's going to be a question episode. We let the questions just get higher and higher, you know. Got quite a few this week, actually.
Yeah.
And it's an all question answered episode going into Big Turkey Day in just a couple days.
Yay.
And happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving. I got a question for you.
For me?
Yes.
What's the question?
So I know it's been a few weeks, maybe a week, too, but what did you think about the Tyson fight?
Okay.
Because I'll tell you what I think.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm sure you're opinionated, and I'm sure I've heard it already.
Yes.
So my opinion on the Tyson fight.
Just real quick.
You could go two different directions, and I got two different theories.
Okay.
Not just one.
Okay.
First theory is it was, Mike was just out of his, Mike's just out of his element.
Okay.
He's 30 years different in age, and his training...
Is it 30?
Almost. Yeah.
Okay.
30, 31, somewhere in there. But anyway, he looked good in his training sessions.
Yeah, I did.
But when it came time to do it in the ring and be prepared, it's just not the same. We all know that, right?
Right.
So maybe it is a thing where Mike's a little older. He's not got the same coordination and all that. So hold on.
Okay.
Second theory. And it's widely known that it was an exhibition bout in a way.
What does that really mean, exhibition?
So basically, the bout was not two current boxers. So think about this.
Okay.
I
know.
Hold on. It was all... Just sum it up real quick. Make it easy. It was all show.
Okay.
The kid is known for being good in showmanship. The guy that put this on, right?
Okay.
Jake Paul. So that's where I'm going with this. The second theory is they knew what they were doing. It was a ruse from the beginning. And Tyson took the big $20 million payday.
Yes.
The other guy took the 40+ million or whatever it was.
God.
And there you go. Because the two girls' boxing match was a train wreck. Them two beat the living daylights out of each other. And then you get their bout, and they're barely even doing anything. So you got the two different theories.
Okay.
And here's the thing I don't like. Is the young guys going around saying, "Oh, I let Mike off easy. I didn't want to hurt him."
Oh my God.
I just don't buy that either. So either way, you got two different sides of the coin. You got the one side's and was Mike too old and just wasn't prepared because training's different than being in ring. That's for wrestlers too.
Yeah.
And or was it all a ruse and these guys came out with millions of dollars? But nonetheless, it was on Netflix.
Yes.
And it's all about entertainment.
It is. And kudos for making that much money. Kudos for making idiots of us all that we believe that. So my opinion...
Well, you ain't wrong.
Right. I mean, we're hyped up. We all fell for it. So good job on that.
Yep.
My opinion is we're 80s kids, you and I.
Yeah.
And we played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, what was it called, on Nintendo?
I remember
that. I
that.
don't know if that was 86, 87, maybe a little later.
It was the late 80s. Yeah, probably, yeah.
And I never watched boxing, just like wrestling, but still I knew who Mike Tyson was.
Right.
And he was a great athlete.
Yeah.
So going into that, I don't care how old he is, and people want to call him geriatric.
Well, I didn't like that either.
So I don't like that. But however, if it was definitely staged, however you want to say.
I'm with that theory as well.
100%.
Like I said.
But still, Mike could have took him so easy. I don't care if he was 85 years old.
I got you.
Good for you for making the money. But Mike, You sold us all out. You sold out. You sold out for this little puss of a white boy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's my other theory.
And boo, I don't like it, but that's just my opinion. So.
Right, and we're all entitled to opinions.
Yes, that's just my opinion. But Mike, you sold us out. You sold us out.
Well, I agree with that.
You could have knocked his ass out. Went out on top.
Well, like I said.
No one, I mean, he made that much money. I'll never have that much money, so I don't know how it is. But you sold us out. End of story.
Well, here's the thing.
That's my opinion.
Right. And you may be onto something. Just like, like I said, I have two different thoughts there. Maybe the critics were right. Mike wasn't prepared.
I don't believe it. He could have killed him in a minute. He could have knocked his ass out.
Here's the thing.
First punch to the face.
Well, I watched it.
I believe it.
Listen, I watched it all.
I didn't watch none of it.
I know. Because it went on very, very late.
Yeah, it was not bedtime. I had to work the next day.
So here's the thing. You're watching this boxing match, and I just don't like from the get-go the commentators were straight up already trying to put it in your heads that Mike was not prepared. And I'm not bringing up anything else from the news, but what does the news and anybody in television normally do? They normally put it in, try to etch it in your head that, hey, this is how it is. And that's what all of them did. The ex-boxer, I can't think of the guy's name right now, but Tyson fought him years ago.
It's just all lies.
And then Rosie Perez, of all people. Why? I'm sorry. Why was Rosie Perez in commentary? I have no earthly idea why she was even chose.
How much she get paid?
I don't know, but she shouldn't even have an opinion on this.
For her.
But then again, we have an opinion, so maybe so.
I know the name, but I don't know who that is.
Yeah, she has the real squeaky voice. She was on White Men Can't Jump.
Well, that means nothing, but...
Yeah. Okay, whatever.
Okay. But anyway, let's not make too long of this. But
no,
anyway, we're sold out. Boo.
But it's like that. They were trying to... I feel like they were trying to reach for something and put in your heads, hey, Mike Tyson cannot do this
They could be on the street, and there's no effing way.
But
there's just no way. There is no way.
One more thing.
I don't care if the man was 80.
Well, I don't know about that. Maybe 80 he could have, but I think he still had something in the tank now. I don't know about 20 more years. He's probably ain't got nothing left. But right now, I think he did. But here's one more thing, and we'll move on.
Okay, let's do.
I'm
mad.
Being that, we know it was promoted primarily by Jake Paul, so it was his show. It was his promotion. So what did anybody really think was going to happen from this?
Kudos. You tricked us all.
Okay.
Good job.
So moving along
I'm mad about
from our opinions. And trust me, people, you do not want to make her mad. It's not good. Okay.
I'm over it. Okay.
On to Cowboy Revolution Apparel Company, people.
Our sponsors.
CowboyRevolution.com. Go there, find you something nice. It is holiday season.
Happy holidays.
And if you're like me, I like to shop online now because I don't like to deal with all these people, right? So go here, get you something nice for your family. Hell, do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Put it in the end there to save that 15% off. Help the veterans in the process. Use code JamieT123.
All right.
So do that.
Sounds good.
Now. Well, do it after you listen to this podcast.
Right now.
There we go. So, moving along, it's all question show. We've already talked about this.
Yeah, we've got lots of good questions here.
Yes. So, do you want to? Do we want to start?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do that.
Said that.
You calm down enough?
I'm calmed down.
Yeah, you're starting to scare me over there. I think you're turning red in the face a little bit talking about it. Yeah.
It's just wrong. You sold out. I'm telling anybody.
I'm telling you that is definitely a theory. That is definitely a theory.
You could have took him easy.
And I agree with that. But here's I don't want to keep going on and on about it.
I don't either.
But here's the thing. It's either one way or the other.
We're all a bunch of suckers.
Only the people that were primarily involved know the truth.
Yes, I'm glad I didn't bet on it. I would have lost.
Yes. All right.
So, question time.
Yes.
Our first question comes from, or actually a couple questions, got two. From John in Columbia, South Carolina. Thank you, John. So John's first question is, what are the major differences between pro wrestling when you started 100 years ago and now?
Wow. Wow, you really outdated me, didn't you?
Well, we also are geriatric.
It's over. No, I'm nowhere near geriatric. And oh, you will get me started now.
Okay, go ahead.
Here's the thing.
Focus on the question.
I can handle anything that goes on in the pro wrestling business today. I'm as good as anybody's on television. I don't care what age you are. So just get that straight. Secondly,
maybe
the question.
You could be next.
Yeah, the question at hand, right?
Okay.
Yes, there's a big difference. Let me tell you the primarily difference.
Yes. When you started, what was seriously 1993?
1993.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 93 till now.
Yeah. So in 1993, if you look at 1993 when I started, pro wrestling was promoted even differently, even on the indies. Because why? Because of the internet.
Yes.
Most promoters, and this is not knocking you promoters, because sometimes it does work. Internet does work. Facebook may work. But here's what really works when you're promoting a pro wrestling show. Even to this day, I believe it. You've got to put the footwork in. You've got to get out there in the town. You've got to put the flyers out, the posters out. You got to have newspaper, whatever's remaining. I think newspaper's about dried up now. Radio, TV ads, whatever you can get if you don't have a television show since you're an independent promotion. You got to get it out there. You got to get your name out there. Does the internet work? Yes. But there's, like a lot of promoters, and I'm not down on you if that's your only route of communication to get the audience in it. Facebook is not only a good route for it. You've got to do everything I just said. Plus, nowadays, you should have your own website, and you should be on every social media outlet you can. Yeah. We're talking about Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, if you name them. Bam. Snapchat. See, I'm trying to think of them.
So many we don't even know.
But the big difference is the way they promote it. I think the way people promote it. They have so many outlets they can promote it online now instead of hitting the streets, so to speak, and stuff like that. And another big difference is the way people train in the business nowadays. There's so many wrestling schools out there. Some are accredited, some are non-credited. Back in our day, it was hard to get in. If you got in to the business, even in the early 90s.
So it was a big deal.
Yes. Okay. Yes. This keeps saying that. It was such a big deal to be saying, hey, I was accepted to this group of people. Right. But nowadays, it's like, and this is nothing against anybody that's trying to make it nowadays, but it seems like every Tom, Dick, and Harry can get in this business nowadays a lot easier. You got Smo Joe down the street's got a wrestling school. Then you got a real credited one over in another town, but the bad wrestling schools hurt the good ones, people. Yeah. Just like the bad independent shows hurt the good ones. If somebody gets a bad taste in their mouth, it hurts everyone in the long run. So, that's the big difference. The way, the way they promote and the way, back then when I got in, I felt it was an honor. Nowadays, I don't know how you'd feel it was an honor to break into it because, there's like everybody wants to be a pro wrestling referee nowadays, right? But back when I was getting in, not as many wanted to do it. But when you got in...
Why do you think it's so different now? It's just the spot and everybody wants to.
I'm going to be very honest. I think some people see pro wrestling and they think it's cool, which it is. Yeah. And they go, I want to do that. And they may have never thought about it their whole life, but one day, I'm going to do that. But see, me, I grew up as a small child watching it from barely even friggin' walking. Yeah. Got in the business when I was a teenager. And I loved it since I was a kid. I loved it when I got in it. And I always wanted to be good at it. But, that's the different ways people are. So, who knows? I don't know. But anybody, like I said before, anybody in this business, if you're truly serious about making it, do all you can, ask the right questions, keep your mouth shut at the right times, and listen.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
All right. Question 2 from John is, growing up, who or what about pro wrestling made you a fan?
Mr. Wrestling 2 was my first favorite wrestler. So that caught me...
what caught you about him? Was his look or something?
I don't know. I was 2 or 3 years old.
You're like, ooh, what's this?
My dad was watching wrestling on TBS, and he was on there. It was the early 80s because, I was born in 78, so it's probably 80, 81. And they swear up and down, my mom and him both always swear up and down that he was watching wrestling. I end up in the floor. My mom comes in the room and goes, "Why did you throw him in the floor?" And he goes, "I didn't." He jumped. And my dad swore up and down that happened. Now, did he throw me? Maybe. But that's apparently he was the first wrestler I ever liked, and I ended up jumping in the floor apparently. Okay. So, but then after I got older, TV, still young kid, right? Mm-hmm. Hulk Hogan, Dusty Rhodes. I started seeing all these other people, and so that's. But Mr. Wrestling 2 got me, and then Hogan and Dusty, and then over the years I started liking different people like Sting, and Surfer Sting, not Crow Sting, because I was a lot younger when I liked Sting, but yeah. So that's pretty much how I got involved in liking it.
All right, nice. Thank you, John. All right, next one comes from Mary Thomas. Mm-hmm. So Mary asked, "Did you ever referee a match of Kurt Angle's or Kurt Henning's?"
Yeah, absolutely. Kurt Angle was in TNA, of course, when I had my run there. Kurt was already established in WWF/E years before, but when I got to work with him, he was in TNA, but nonetheless, he was always one of the. He was just made for the business. He was a great Olympic wrestler / he picked up pro wrestling very well. He was just made to do it. If I had a second Mount Rushmore,
the second.
But just to be honest, I hate having a Mount Rushmore. I even hate bringing that up because there's so many talented people and so many guys that I actually liked, right?
Yeah.
But Kurt would definitely he goes down. Kurt definitely would go down and now. If I had a second one, it would be Kurt, and I also put the Undertaker in the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But yeah, several times with Kurt and TNA. One time in particular I remember was he worked Travis Tomko on a Impact show, and he German suplexed this guy 10 times.
Ooh.
Yeah, but quite interesting.
Yeah. And what about the other guy?
Oh, Kurt Hennig, yes. At WCW, Kurt was there. I never got to work with Kurt during my time there, sadly. But after the closing of WCW, I was working for a guy out in Louisiana. His name was Curly Womack. And we was living in Charlotte, but he flew me down to Monroe, Louisiana. Mm-hmm. I worked a show out there, and Kurt worked the main event against Kamala, the Ugandan Giant. Oh, okay. And that's my one and only match with Kurt Hennig. And I'll never forget it. A few years later, Kurt passed away and all that. And but Kurt's another one. I'd have to put him up there with Kurt Angle. Was just made to be a pro wrestler, just phenomenal. So I'd probably add him to the second Mount Rushmore.
Okay, nice. What's the good old Curly story you got there?
Curly Womack. Well, Curly, he had aspirations of having a WCW type company.
Did he?
Yes, he did. Right. He only lasted a few weeks in the business because I guess all this travel, he was just running up and name talent and promising all this money to everybody, and it didn't last long. So. Yeah, it was going quick, probably a month or two. But I only worked that one Curly show, and it was yeah. But he had everybody on this thing. We're talking about Nasty Boy.
Did you have a good crowd then? Or you don't remember it?
It was here's the problem. It was the first Friday or Saturday. I can't remember, Friday or Saturday of June. So no.
So that's not good?
No, not.
What would that matter?
School probably just let out. Oh. It's in Monroe, Louisiana. WCW was the big company that went out a few minutes earlier, and I don't think it was promoted 100% correct. I don't know it because I don't live in Louisiana. I don't know what was going on, but the house was not that good. But he had big aspirations, and I wish things would have worked out for these guys that do this, because who knows? Some of us may have had another opportunity to run up and down the roads, all the time, but it just didn't come out. So it was closed probably before it even opened, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
Sucks.
But he had big talk, big aspirations, but to be honest, a lot of promoters in this business do that. Some survive, some don't.
Okay.
Okay. So what's going on now? What else we got?
Oh, I thought you were. Did I ask the cruiserweight one?
A cruiserweight?
I think I skipped one here.
You didn't ask me anything, but do with the cruiserweight.
Oh, that's right. I asked you that other question. Excuse me.
Okay.
All right.
What we got going on?
So Barry B from Huntsville, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is the greatest cruiserweight? That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Well.
And what is a cruiserweight?
Cruiserweight is a light heavyweight. Like Juventud Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, guys like that. But I would have to say Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio, hands down. His longevity and being world champion for the WWE at his size, giving him the opportunity, he ran with it. And the success he had moving through WCW and made that division what it was, Rey Mysterio. Right. No other option. So, not even today's. No. I mean, there's no one to edge the history like he did. There'll be other guys good, but no one that made that big an impact that made the cruiserweight division what it is. So, Rey Mysterio, absolutely 100%.
Okay, good answer. All right, the next one is so anonymous, which is fun. So, what tag team that currently isn't in the WWE Hall of Fame, who do you think it deserves to be?
Okay.
Yes, if you could put someone in there.
Yes, I would pick, let's see. One is the Nasty Boys.
Oh, yeah.
I think they've done a lot for the business. They have done a lot for the business. And Brian and Jerry, they had a unique tag team that was especially in the 80s when other tag teams were like the Rock and Roll Express look, and stuff like that.
Well, how are they different?
They came out, they just looked different. They
the style. Yeah.
Well, they were rugged, big guys standing from the streets, and just they were nasty boys, right? But no, their style to the ring just was totally different at the time, and it made for some good TV. But when they went to WCW, they had good matches with the Steiners when they got hired in 1990, and then they went on to WWF and becoming the World Tag Champs there. Leaving WCW, then coming back to WCW, and just took over the tag team division there again in '93, I believe it was. So, absolutely, they deserve to be in there first and foremost. And I believe I'm right about this. The Midnight Express have never made it into the Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure the WWE Hall of Fame does not have them in there. They absolutely deserve to go in as well. And we're talking about either group. It could be, hell, put them all in there. Put Condrey, Eaton, and Lane in there. But if you can't, either tag team version of Condrey and Eaton or Lane and Eaton would work for me as well. So, but them two tag teams did so much for the business. I was a big fan of Midnight growing up. The Nasty Boys, I actually became friends with Knobs later, and hung out with Knobs quite a bit in Florida when I lived there at Clearwater. But and that was fun times. He was always cool to be around. And the stories are true. He is loud at times. But if he really liked you, he liked you. And we hung out a lot, and sometimes you miss the camaraderie that you have with the guys, but all things end, I guess you can say. but it was fun. And but no, they're the two tag teams. Absolutely need to go in. Just like I said, the Nasties paved the way for different types of tag teams getting opportunities. And the Midnight Express, I mean, what else can you say? Them with Jim Cornette were probably the best heel tag teams that there ever was in the business. Ever. And that's what I would go with.
All right. Well, the next one is actually for me.
It is?
I have a question.
All right, let me take a look at that.
Yes, you can read that.
Let me pull the screen up here. What we got? Okay.
All right.
Says they actually made notation that the question is just for Julia.
Yeah, all right. It's about time, right?
Yeah. Comes from Rachel Anderson. I don't know where Rachel's from. It doesn't really say here, but it says, "Did you mind Jamie traveling all the time?" So, did you mind me traveling all the time?
Thank you, Rachel. That's a good question. Of course, when we first met, we weren't even married yet, but we were naughty and lived together, I guess.
Okay. Well,
that was frowned upon anyway. Another story.
Yeah.
So, of course, it was hard at first because it was new to me. It was different. But then I also had my family and your family. Mm-hmm. So I always had people to call or visit or see. Mm-hmm. And I'd call. Cell phones were a little different back then. We had them, but you had to be very careful. We got charged for roaming. We got charged for, I guess it wasn't after 7 or something. I don't know if we had that plan or not. So it's hard. It was difficult to call. So I had to. Then you'd have to give me your hotel. Yep. And I'd have to phone the front desk and ask for your room number. So it was like a whole different world. Yeah. Back then. Yeah. So it wasn't like we could FaceTime or text real quick or anything because none of that in the beginning was even available. Yeah. Yeah. So it was tough at first, but of course, like all things, you try to get used to it. And I wanted to go travel with you all the time, but I knew that was not my place. Even though I did enjoy when I did get to go. Yeah, that helped also.
Well, you were kind of strategical with when you planned to go to these events. Remember, you went to the Vegas and the California trip.
I got to go to the, I guess the more popular sites.
The bigger, like Des Moines, Iowa. She never said, "Hey, I really want to go to Des Moines."
But now, hey, I'd go still.
Probably go anywhere, yeah.
But of course, it's something you got used to. But it was for a good reason. I know you'd like to. It was your job. Yeah. We have a good form of trust, which is always good.
Yes.
And so it was weird, and I was.
In the young days, it was weird. Yeah. But but
of course, you grow. Yeah. You get used to it. Now, you could go for 2 weeks. I miss you, but right. It's totally different because we're much older. Right. Yeah. So it was hard in the beginning.
Yeah, and the TNA run was really easy because most of my shots were an hour up the road.
Yeah, and then you drive and come home. Yeah. Like when you went to China for 2 weeks. And that was more recent than the younger years. But yeah. Because I could call you, but it wasn't as easy.
Well, China was rough because I tried to...
20 hours away.
Well, it was kind of weird how... I don't even know how we didn't communicate every day, I don't think.
No, it's still hard. I think you had Wi-Fi, so as long as you connected to Wi-Fi, our Apple or iPhones would work.
I can't remember. But
I can't remember.
Hell, that's been 10 years ago. That's been 10 years ago, too.
But now communication is way, 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 way much easier.
Yeah.
Our phone bill won't... Like, our phone bill in 2000 was probably $600-$700 a month sometimes. Because we didn't know how to...
Well, the first...
So things have changed and progressed.
Yeah.
But,
well, the first carrier was bad at that time.
Yeah.
Sprint was bad back in 2000.
But it's a whole different
Oh, yeah. They don't charge you for nothing no more.
Now our phone bill's that much, but we have 4 lines, 2 watches, and a iPad, so it's much different. But yeah. So it was difficult, but I knew that was your job and your passion, and it made you happy. So then I was happy. So It's good.
Yep.
So go ahead and travel again.
You hear that, people? Okay.
Okay.
Powers that be.
Yes.
Brother needs a job. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Rachel. That was a good question.
But another thing about, traveling back then.
And thankfully it wasn't like
a lot of things was weird back then. Like for me, I know we're getting off topic. It was your question, but for me, when I first started traveling with WCW, I had never been on a plane before.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was just 21 years old. Everything I had done in this business, I would go by car.
And you think you're old at 21, but
you do, but you're really
45,
not.
You're like, damn, I was young.
Right. Now that I'm 46, you're 45. Now that I'm 46, I know that I was still a kid at 21.
Yes, you are,
but at 21, I thought I was a grown man,
Well, you were.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yes. It's just
but realistically,
you think.
You still haven't.
You're untouchable.
Yes. Yeah. And that's another thing. To get that opportunity to work with such a big company at such a young age is phenomenal. Yeah. A lot of people don't get that until they're 30 or older. But
I had no idea what we had.
Not really. Yeah. But I started at a young age, and 15, and then when I got to get hired by a major company, I was still so young, but still experienced in a way because I'm 6 years in the business.
Right.
And it truly was my passion. That's all I did for that 6 years. All I dreamed about was making it. And that's what happens, people, I guess. You make it. But yeah, for me, traveling was a little weird for me too, because I wasn't used to catching a flight. And
that's something you're not taught.
No.
You just wing it and go.
And you're under 25.
And even catching a flight then was totally different than it is today.
It's a lot easier then, I would think.
I think it's easier now.
Really? I think after 9/11 happened, for a while there, it was horrible.
Yeah.
They check everything. But back then, you could go to the gates.
Yeah, that's true. I could walk right to the damn door with you and be like, bye.
Right. And then, but I remember when WCW, they had the rental cars for me, I would have to literally, they'd have to pay for them. And I guess somehow, since they're paying for it,
because you weren't old enough.
I wasn't old enough to get one of my own. Because you had to be 25. I don't know if that's still a rule or not, but back then you had to be 25 to get a rental car. Thank God they were covering the rental cars. Yeah. I mean, I could have always jumped in with somebody else, but they were providing me rental cars, so I'm not going to say no to you providing me a ride.
Yeah.
But no, it was a good experience, and it taught me a lot about travel when I went to WCW. So it was good. Yeah. And it taught me a lot about cherishing. I love you, and you love me. But when I went to work, even though it was traveling away, we both understood.
Yes. And
then when I came home, it was just so great to see you.
Yeah.
So it's a great thing.
It is.
Yes. All
right. The next one comes from, Steve McKay in Charlottesville, Virginia. So Steve asked us if you weren't in pro wrestling, is there anything else you would have done?
Well, I would say if I had a second choice when I was younger, at that time, right?
Right.
I would have chose maybe something in crime investigator, crime scene investigator, something like that.
Should have done that.
I think it's quite interesting. These shows are quite, they intrigue me. And I love crime shows. I love to watch the investigators go over the crime scenes. And I think that would be something I would have enjoyed. Not saying I still couldn't do it, but I probably won't now. But
the ship might have been sailed.
If it was something else that I would have chose, that might have been something. But it wasn't. Pro wrestling was it.
You said you want to be a chiropractor too.
I thought about it. I thought about being a chiropractor.
Should have done that.
Yeah, I thought about that too. But I chose pro wrestling instead, and here we are, and where I'm at now. But it's life, right?
It is.
Yeah.
But you know what? No regrets. the big thing.
Not at all. I had a good.
No what ifs. No.
No.
No. What if I'd have done this?
I've always tried. And I've made it a few times, and then even when I got the no's, I still wouldn't back down. So, no regrets. I don't have to look at myself in the mirror 20 years from now, and Lord forbid,
what?
Please let me be here 20, 30, 40 years from now.
God forbid.
Yes, that's what I meant to say.
Okay.
You know, I don't think I'll look in the mirror and go, man, I should have done this or that different.
Yeah.
Because, life isn't perfect. We all make mistakes. But I have constantly, when I wanted to be in the business, I have tried. And if I succeeded, I did. And if I didn't, I just didn't. But and I always tell people.
You've tried.
And I've probably said this before on the show. I've done more than some and less than others.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. So I've had a good life. Good life in wrestling. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, this is anonymous.
Got another anonymous?
Yes.
What's going on with this?
Are you ready for this one?
Is it a hard one?
It is.
Okay.
That's what she said.
Hold on. Is that what she said?
That is.
Hold on.
It will lay down.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Do you prefer steak or chicken?
Am I at the Japanese restaurant? Okay.
That's delicious, yeah.
It is. I love some, hibachi.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'd
go with the shrimp.
Definitely a steak. I'm a steak guy first. I do eat lots of chicken, but I prefer steak if I'm going to go out and enjoy myself. Maybe a filet or a ribeye. They're my two favorite cuts of meat. Yep.
All right. Anything else to add to that?
No. Well, I like them. I like my steak medium.
Yes.
Yes.
As growing up as children, we were taught to get that sucker well done. We
were taught different. Yeah, our families wanted their meat cooked through and through.
And that's what you know, and that's what you were taught.
Yeah.
And
but
it's wrong.
But when we changed it, it was life-changing.
We're like, oh.
Yeah.
I changed because I got made fun of.
Really?
Yeah, when you go to the Japanese hibachi steakhouse and you say well done, they're like, I don't want to sound naughty. They're like, oh no, I'll be here all day.
Really? I didn't remember this. Okay.
Well, you weren't with me yet.
Oh.
I didn't know you yet.
Oh, this is when your family. Okay, I didn't say because I thought we always got them together. First. Yeah.
So I was like, maybe well done is not the way to go.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Trust. Yeah, it's definitely. You gotta have some pink.
There must be some redneck North Carolina.
I don't know. I better watch where you're going with this because there's probably a lot of people out there that listen.
I mean, if you like it, you like it.
Hold on, girl.
I mean, if you like it, well done, fine. But
no.
Try it. Try a little different.
Absolutely. No,
recommendation.
It's got to be medium. Sorry.
I like a medium rare medium.
No. If you go any more than medium, it's a little undercooked. Sorry. I'm stuck there at medium.
I did get one almost rare one time by accident. I was like, but I ate it all anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must still been good.
It was.
Yeah. But you know, when you go in to get a hamburger at these certain places and they offer you some pink.
Yeah.
I mean, I like my hamburgers some pink most of the time.
Yeah, I think they can only do that if they're fresh made.
Yeah, in certain states too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I definitely don't want a bloody hamburger for sure.
What are you, a vampire?
But yes. All right, good answers. Okay. The next question is from Sylvia Potts. Okay. And Sylvia asked, name a wrestler that wasn't a world champion that you think deserved a title run.
Okay. 2 guys come to mind. Maybe more. Hold on. Give me a second here. We'll do this.
Okay.
We'll do this upright.
Okay.
Arn Anderson, number 1. Arn Anderson was just, he was so talented. He, in my opinion, he was on the level of being a Ric Flair, but wasn't used the same way, right? He was one of the horsemen, kind of at times seemed like he was in the background, but let me tell you, Arn could have been the world champion and ran with that. Arn could talk. Arn could work. And definitely in the 80s, early 90s era, Arn could have been a world champion easily. Hands down. Okay. Just from his talent alone and his mic skills. He had everything a wrestler should have. Another guy comes to mind is Nikita Koloff. And the only reason I say this about Nikita, and a lot of people might say, may not agree with this, but when Magnum TA had his car accident in late '86, down there in Charlotte, and Dusty had the thing where Nikita turns face in Charlotte, and that big pop they got when Nikita came in the cage, and when he finally made his decision. He looked in the cage, acted like he wasn't going in. He finally went in. And when he goes in, he starts hitting Ole and Arn or whoever he's working, right? Mm-hmm. That night. I'm telling you, the roof blew off that Charlotte Coliseum. So he gets the world title match that Magnum was probably going to get at Starrcade 86. You give it to Nikita. But Nikita does not win the title that night. Just think, if Nikita would have won the title at Starrcade 86, changed the whole landscape of the business. 87 would look a lot different. And then here's my thing. Go all the way, one full circle year. Nikita keeps the world title all the way to Starrcade 87. Flair wins it back. There's your 87 right there. Oh, okay. And I think, and this is nothing against Ronnie Garvin because I'm a Ronnie Garvin fan, but Ronnie Garvin won in September of 87. And Flair was the heavyweight champion all the way through, never held off every challenger. But I think they dropped the ball when they did not go with that turn really strong and gave the title to Flair. Flair became Dusty's new partner. They were called the Superpowers. But I'm telling you right now, one was U.S. champ, one was TV champ. But I think Nikita should have got the heavyweight title. That's just my theory. And do I think it would have been pulled off? I honestly do. Some others may disagree. But I think, Nikita was just a big guy. Had a nice look. In the 80s, a lot of guys didn't have that look. Just like Luger. Luger was a body guy. Yeah. And Luger changed the landscape for a lot of the guys coming in. And guys like Luger, Warrior, Sting, all these guys with nice bodies, right? Worked out all the time. Compared, and this is no disrespect, compared to a Dusty Rhodes, and Arn Anderson, that, not saying they didn't work out or anything, or wasn't good athletes. More the dad bod. They had more of a regular, Yeah. So, but absolutely, Nikita Koloff would have ran with that world title that year. Mm-hmm. I really believe that 100%. Another guy was Buddy Landel. A lot of people would disagree with that. But Buddy Landel was called the Nature Boy, just like Flair. Had the blonde hair, had the robes. He would have been as big a star as Flair, but a lot of people say he had what they call demons. He liked to do the alcohol, party all night, do the drugs. I don't know this for a fact. I'm just speculating because I've heard this, people. That he missed bookings. He wouldn't show up for bookings. So he was his own worst enemy. But if he did together at the same time? Yeah. And they had the same name? Yeah. Did he do that? Yeah. Oh. Because the other Nature Boy, the original Nature Boy is Buddy Rogers. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So, but I'm telling you right now, I think Buddy Landel, if he would have been the right mindset, he would have been ever big as Ric Flair, and he could have held a world title anywhere as well. So there's my three. There's three guys for you. Okay. So more than one.
Very nice. Yeah. Okay. So the next one comes from Calvin Rich from New Jersey. So, what?
Go ahead.
So Calvin asks, in your opinion, who do you think is the best big man in wrestling, past or present? What's big man mean?
So I think what he's trying to say here, it's Calvin, right? Yeah. Calvin. I think what Calvin's trying to say and ask here is when we talk about big man, like super heavyweight big guys.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
just a big guy.
Okay.
So I would have to go with Vader. Big Van Vader.
Okay.
His matches with Sting in 92 and 93 in WCW alone etches him in the all-time greats. Just them 2 years alone. Not counting everything else he ever did in Japan and WWF years later. But just them 2 years alone, Big Van Vader, hands down. I remember seeing him live against Flair in Starrcade '93 at the old Charlotte Coliseum when Flair won the world title. Flair beat Vader, but his best matches were with Sting in '92 and going into '93. And one that comes to mind is the White Castle of Fear. It happened in Asheville, early '93. Really good match. But I was always a Vader fan. Even when, at that point I was a big Sting fan, but I was still a Vader fan. Not as much as Sting, but I like Vader. But I thought they had some phenomenal matches in '92, '93 under Watts, when Bill Watts ran WCW.
Okay.
And even though I was in WCW, I always cherished that time I was there. It was the late end of it.
Yeah.
But my favorite period of WCW would be 92, 93-ish, when Bill Watts ran it, and it was just so much good wrestling. But that was me as a fan point of view.
Yeah.
Being in the business, I got in when I did, so I always respect that. But them years there are my favorite WCW years. Absolutely. So Vader is.
Very nice. Okay. So this comes from Jess Ford from Austin, Texas. Nice. So Jess asked, this is a question for both of us.
Yes.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
How did y'all meet?
How did y'all meet?
Yes.
Well,
thank you, Jess. That's a good question.
Yes. So I'll start it off, and you can fill in the blanks here if I leave anything out, because I'm sure I will.
Course.
Yeah. Well, basically, how we met.
Set it back.
Was
November.
November. Yeah, November.
1999.
That's right, and it was
AOL. Maybe around this time, actually.
Yeah, AOL chat room.
Thanksgiving that year.
Charlotte. So it was on the internet, people. Yeah.
The dial-up. The internet was.
Yeah, the
hot and heavy back then.
Yeah, that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took about
that's how we actually met.
15 minutes if you're lucky to connect.
We talked about a week, and we finally met up.
Yeah, and this is back when you had just a little profile. You had no pictures.
Yeah, we had no pictures.
Nothing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was just this little profile. I think it says you filled it out. Like, what do you look like? Or did you just tell people? I can't remember. It'd be like, what do you look like?
Yeah, it's kind of.
I'm 5'11", blue eyes.
But you're always scared because you don't know if you're meeting what they tell you.
Brown hair.
Yeah. But now that I think back, it's kind of shady.
Yeah.
For us to go in there.
Scary.
Yeah.
I'm sure you did, and I did meet some. I'm really lucky I wasn't a crime show. No shit. I mean.
My God. You're right. You're right. We'll both be dead in a ditch somewhere.
Shady shit going
back
on.
in Carolina. Yeah.
Like, hey, you want to meet the best bar in the lot? And I'll drive his car. Yeah, let's do it.
Ended up in the hey, hold on.
Mercy.
You end up over in the gutter like E.T. in the movie.
God. Oh, almost dead. Poor little E.T.
But
That's
no,
childhood trauma. But anyway.
I like E.T. I love E.T.
I do not.
So yeah, we met off a line.
Met off a line.
Off a line. I know. I got that country coming out sometimes. We met
AOL chat room.
Yes.
Online.
Not
off a line.
See what I'm saying?
God.
Anyway, that's how we met.
Because then back in the chat room, you'd see somebody and be like, you'd have to like instant message them.
Yeah, you see everybody's name pop up. Yeah.
Because you'd be in the group chat like, hey, who are you?
Yeah, pretty much.
How old are you?
Pretty much.
Where do you go to school? Yeah. What do you do for a living?
But, the reason I started using that to meet people is because...
That was the thing to do, though.
Well, it was the thing to do, but I
was too young to go to the bar.
You're looking at a 20, 21-year-old guy here, right? And he's he referees pro wrestling every friggin' weekend and sometimes during the week. So what do you think? It's kind of hard to meet.
And when you told me you were a wrestling referee, I was like, wonder what high school he works at.
Yeah, she did.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Who the hell thinks it's that? I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
But I gave you a shot anyway. I was
she
like,
did.
This guy's probably weird as fuck, but you know.
What do you think now?
Same. I love you.
Yeah, I love you. But no, that's how we met.
AOL. You're a wrestling referee?
Went on the first date about a week later.
December 3rd.
Yeah. And then by the end of December, how would you say, I don't want to sound outdated and old when I say this, but I guess we were an item by the end of December. And then that was it, you know. We've been together ever since and got engaged in March 2nd of 2000. That's actually your birthday as well.
Yes, it's a good birthday.
And I'd already had my, by then, I've already been told by WCW I was coming in.
I didn't know that.
And by then you did.
No, I didn't.
On March 2nd you did. Because I started March 4th.
I don't remember.
Okay. She forgets a lot too. But anyway, so...
maybe I just didn't understand what that even meant.
No, you did.
Did I?
You're just a little confused, I think, today. Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah. But no, early February I got the call that actually
that's right.
was coming in. Yeah.
All right, it's coming back to me now.
Yeah. And then March 2nd was your birthday, and I think
a whole 20 years old.
Well, hold on. I think you thought I was going to ask you.
I was 21.
On Valentine's. Remember? And then you didn't get asked on Valentine's.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got that bracelet, and I think you were a little disappointed, but
I don't remember.
Yeah. But then you got the engagement on your birthday. So
I did. Okay.
Actually worked out better.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 21. That's right.
No, you were 20 when you got engaged. I was 21.
We got married the same year. I was 21.
You turned 21 then. Yeah, I guess you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Hold on. Well, we are getting older. And I turned 22 in that March. That's right. Yeah,
yes. Yeah. All right.
Because we both have birthdays in March, people. I do know that much.
Yes.
Yeah. And you and I am 46 now, right?
I think so. I forget. It's like when I run, I don't know what age group I'm in.
I don't know how old I am anymore, people. I'm sorry, but
we are also geriatric. Just kidding.
I hate that word.
I hate it too. Yeah. It's not true.
Yes. Okay, Rosie.
I wish. I'm making some money.
Okay. So what are we on to now?
All right, next. So that's how we met.
Yeah, yeah.
Charlotte AOL chat room in 1999.
You like to put that 100 in there?
I do like it.
Okay.
I like it, yeah. That's what the kids say.
That was also when everybody thought the world was going to end on January 1st.
Oh, yes, the Y2K.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not a damn problem.
Nothing happened.
Not a thing.
Nope.
Power didn't go out of nothing.
Nope.
That's a bunch of hype.
Life resumed.
Yes. I don't even think the computer crashed or...
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Nope.
Good. All right. Another anonymous question. Are you ready?
God, all these anonymous.
No.
Who are these people?
Put my name on it, so no.
Okay.
No, it's really good questions. We appreciate it.
No, I like the questions. I like any question.
Give that email.
I even like the steak and chicken question.
I know. We're like any. So give that email address out one more time.
Yeah, the email address is wrestleref123@gmail.com.
So any questions?
Yes.
Concerns?
Please.
Comments? Good, bad? Let us know.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Bring it all.
We take constructive criticism.
Every day?
It's a good thing.
Yes.
All right. So, what was that? What did that say?
There you go.
Huh? Did I go?
Yeah, I put a yell in there for everybody.
What did it yell out?
What?
Oh. In your opinion, who is the greatest ring announcer in WCW as well as WWE? That's a good question. Yeah.
If you're asking the best out of both or the best in each one?
I guess give the best in each one, then say who's the best.
Okay. So
that sounds good. Or even, I guess, the TNA, too, or all of them. I don't know.
Well, TNA, if you said TNA, in WCW, both would be David Penzer.
Yeah.
Hands down, David Penzer, better than anybody that's been in WCW. Dave took it and ran with it. In my opinion, he was better than the ones that were before him in WCW.
Okay.
Yeah, even and I'm not doing this to shun, because I'm a Gary Michael Capetta fan.
Okay.
But I think David Penzer is better, and I'm friends with David, but it's not because of that.
Right.
I'll make that straight. But I think David Penzer's better. Okay. So yeah, in WCW, definitely David Penzer. WWF, WWE, Howard Finkel was the best. But I remember growing up watching him, and it was from the 80s on up. It was awesome. So, but if you had to pick between the two, being that they're my favorites from each company, I would say Howard Finkel.
Okay.
Yeah. He's just legendary, going back from the 80s all the way up through the Attitude Era, all the way through. But Dave would be a close second when it came to the very best that there ever was. But Dave is definitely the best WCW had. And I'm not sure if he still works for TNA. He was as of a couple years ago when I ran into him at the Fan Fest down in Winston. I think he's still there. Okay. But he'd still be the best they had, even if he wasn't. TNA especially, too. Yeah.
All right. Very nice. All right. And our last one here comes from Cassidy Helms in Oklahoma. Nice. So Cassidy asks, why do you use a moniker such as Mr. 2020?
Okay. So...
yeah. Good question.
So a lot of people go online and they go, this guy shouldn't have a moniker, a nickname, so to speak.
It's also your AOL chat room name.
It was Mr. 2020. It was. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. You added that back to the question from earlier.
Yes.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
I was like, what the hell is he, an eye doctor?
Yes.
Optometrist? What?
Yes.
Well, that's what you think. A vision.
Did you really think that?
Well, that's what you think with such a name, but
after you met me, you're like, he ain't no damn eye doctor.
Well, you said you refereed wrestling. All I could think of was a high school.
I don't know what made you think high school wrestling.
Because that's all I knew. I didn't know that.
Her wrestling was on TV.
Yeah, but you don't think that. That's not the first thing I thought.
Okay.
And then, like you said, you had a wrestling ring. I thought you had like a Super Bowl ring, a ring you wore on your finger.
No, it was actually a 16 by 16
I didn't know these
pro
things.
Wrestling ring. So that's what it was.
Who the hell has that? Nobody.
I did.
Actually, nobody.
Nobody you knew
and
until
I was like,
me.
Where's this ring at? And you kept saying it got stolen or sold or some shit. And I'm like, he sold a ring.
Yeah.
Must have been a nice gold ring. I don't know.
You kill me with that.
Well, it's true. That's what I thought.
I'm glad you wised up quick.
I did.
Yes.
Anyway, carrying on. Back to Cassidy's question.
What was it again?
Oh my gosh.
The moniker name?
Yes.
Okay.
Such as Mr. 2020.
So a lot of people will say, hey, referees shouldn't have a moniker name, blah, blah. This guy shouldn't have a gimmick. But here's the thing with my gimmick. My gimmick was given to me by Ted Hobgood back in my Omega wrestling days with the Hardy Boys and Shannon Moore and all them guys, So it means a lot to me. I even have trading cards sitting over here next to us.
Mm-hmm. They're nice. Yeah.
Yes. But that's how I got the name. I got it from Omega, and I never used it anywhere but Omega. And when we had our reunion 2 years ago at a wrestling convention down in Carolina, they announced me as Mr. 2020. Yeah. And, the name. Cool. Yeah. So that's where it comes into play. That's why I use it to today. It's a thank you and an honor back to them as being a part of that and something special for paving the way for some of the athletes of today, because we did. If it wasn't for the Omega, and I said this there and I say it today, you wouldn't have groups like Evolve come after it, Ring of Honor and stuff like that, because this is what paved the way for that to happen. Because the Hardy Boys and them were something special. ahead of their time in the United States, at least. I know Mexico had it going on and all that, and Japan had a different style. But in America, other than having Rey Mysterio and stuff like that, we're talking about Omega set the tone for it. So I just play homage, I guess you can say, by using it and saying it.
Yeah.
But when I went to WCW, I didn't have a moniker. I was just me. Yeah. I was a referee. I was Jamie Tucker because I knew my role. I was a referee. I didn't need to be anything else but a referee. I was good at that. I didn't need to have a gimmick. But that's the reason I use it, because of Omega. And it was given to me by Ted Hobgood, and a good friend, and just brings back memories when I use it. Yeah. So that's why.
Very nice. All right.
Well.
Anything else to add?
Well, do you have any more questions first?
That's all the questions I have right now.
Wow, we answered quite a bit. Quite a bit this week.
13. Lucky number 13.
Oh, that's right. Playing lottos now.
I like 13.
I do too.
So does Taylor Swift.
Yeah. There you go.
That's okay. Some of her stuff's good.
So, in closing, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode here really from good. Tucker Studios. And remember, Cowboy Revolution. Go to cowboyrevolution.com. When you cash out, use coupon code to save 15% off. Jamie T123. All right. As well, send your questions into WrestleRef123@gmail.com. Any questions, just like the steak and chicken question, or how we met, or anything else. Yes. They've already used them now, but you get what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Send anything in. So, and I'll be more than happy, and obviously, the lovely Julia will be more than happy to answer them.
Yeah, I get to talk some more.
Ask all the way. If you want to send a whole episode just for her to talk, I'm fine with that.
I don't know if I want to talk that much. But...
Yeah, once you get in the groove. I like talking wrestling, so I'm sure. I know. But just I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving. And, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Tomorrow night would normally, back in the day, would normally be Thanksgiving Eve, of course, and it would be the Survivor Series in the late 80s.
Okay.
Yep. And that's no more. So.
Oh.
Yeah. The Survivor Series is still around, but the way they do it, you know.
Oh, it's not on Thanksgiving Eve.
Well, you know, back in the day.
I guess it would be always the Wednesday.
Well, back in the day, right? Thanksgiving was Starrcade. Actually, the day of Thanksgiving, the night of. And then 1987, the first Survivor Series was Thanksgiving night.
Oh. Okay.
So they were head-to-head, Starrcade 87
okay.
and Survivor Series. That's when that started.
Thursday.
So, yeah. So, Thanksgiving, to me, was a big thing as wrestling, too.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
Sometimes had a good day. Parade in the morning, food in the day, and wrestling at night.
Mm-hmm. Woo! It'd be on pay-per-view, or we'd go to live matches. Wow. When I started in the business, the first Thanksgiving or two, I think the first 2 years at least, maybe 3, we did Thanksgiving night shows.
Like indie shows too?
Yeah. For Stallion and them, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we go down.
Have good people come out?
Surprisingly, the armories would be packed, yeah.
Wow, very good.
People would come out, yeah. But, you know, a lot of people want something to do.
Yeah, and they're with their families.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I was with mine, even though I did it. My mom, dad, sister all went. So, yeah. Never could get my brother to go, but, you know.
Still can't. That's
all right. Probably not. I don't know.
Maybe. Sean.
Yeah. Well, guys, in closing, happy Thanksgiving. Like I said, send your questions in to WrestleRef123@gmail.com.
Y'all have a lot to be thankful for.
.com. And we look forward to next week's episode. And we're coming back. We're going to do them weekly once again. And send your questions in. Let's have a good time.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Happy Thanksgiving.
See you next time.